Interested in latest film releases? Then stick around while we walk you through some of the best while ignoring the shitty summer chick flicks. This is Rated. Grab the VT! Welcome to Rated, the show where we rant and rave about films while talking over one another. Tom and Ben couldn't be here because apparently paid work is more important than friends. So today, my co-host is the never-witty Bob, whose sense of humour comes straight from the gutter, but it takes a degree to work it out. But with the last-minute changes, like chucking Beckham onto an already failing England squad, there's absolutely no way this can get any worse.
Our guest today is Lorcan, who does podcasts for something or other, but really we met him about 20 minutes ago. He's a philanthropist, a charity worker, shoemaker, an all-around great guy, and these are a few things we're pretty sure are true. With an overwhelming need to get out of here, slap on some fake tan and head for pride, here's what's coming up, so to speak.
X-Men Apocalypse gets slated over the last week with less than mediocre reviews, in a film where most of us just want to find out how Professor X goes bald.
Set in the 80s with a wide range of different shorts, this film follows the freshers' weekend of a Texan University baseball team. Expect beer pong, flirting, and old music.
After the success of Days of Future Past, what was expected to be the new blockbuster is falling short of reviewers' expectations.
Things are better. The world is better.
Just because there's not a war doesn't mean there's peace. He's coming.
Some call him Apocalypse. He was some kind of god. For thousands of years, he's been amassing mutants to take their powers. He always had 4 followers.
Like the 4 horsemen.
Eric, don't join them.
Whatever it is you think you saw in me, I buried it with my family.
Together, we will cleanse the earth.
Everything they've built will fall! And from the ashes of their world, we'll build a better one!
I've never felt power like this before.
They took him. Raven, the world needs the X-Men.
I'm not a hero.
Students look up to you.
If I'm going to teach your kids something, I'm going to teach them how to fight. Follow me.
To her.
I'm not afraid of him. Magneto, he's my father.
What?
Him and my mom, they did.
No, I know.
Not all of us can control our powers.
Then don't.
Apocalypse means to destroy this world.
It's all of us against a god.
And the most powerful beings on Earth.
Forget everything you think you know. None of that matters. You're not students anymore.
We'll take everything from them.
You're X-Men. Well, you've been busy.
We had a little help.
Okay, so now I think we've all got over the fact that Peter Beale from EastEnders is actually an X-Men. What did you guys think? What did you think about him?
Oh, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I really
loved
enjoyed
it. Yeah.
Like I said before, Days of Future Past and First Class, I think with especially Days of Future Past, I think that killed it, and then this one just, yeah, I think it just beat all of them.
It was pretty special. Something I really liked about it is basically just kind of like the uncanny X-Men going against the Marvel Comics universe interpretation of Donald Trump. Just this strange, funny-looking gentleman that's got an inordinate amount of powers, that obviously comes from a time where just trying to get along wasn't on the school curriculum. It had it all for me. It had it all. I know also quite a few people they're slating it, saying, "Oh, it's just like the X-Men movie by numbers." And which, to be fair, yeah, but they've got a formula and it works. But it's not the person that brought out the cheesecake thought, you know what? If we put something else on it, it can make it all the way special. I see that as like the blueberry cheesecake of its time.
What did you think?
I'm going to be the dissenting opinion to you, but it seems like the majority of the opinion, if you base it on Rotten Tomatoes, I thought it was rubbish. Like, if we're ranking the X-Men movies, I would rank this as third worst. Ahead of The Last Stand, was that the third one?
Which was
and
awful.
Ahead of X-Men Origins Wolverine. I don't like Bryan Singer, I'll be honest. I'm not even that big a fan of The Usual Suspects, which is probably the more controversial thing that I have.
Okay, wow, okay, yeah.
I think he's the definition of a mediocre talent as far as filmmaking goes. I love Matt Vaughn, and so First Class is by far my favourite X-Men movie. Then there's a big gap. Then it's X-Men 2, which I think is quite overrated. I haven't seen any of these films since they were out of the cinema. I'm not a huge comic book movie fan. I watch them, and I think partly when X-Men Apocalypse was all coming up, I was just like, again, another one, because already with this year we've had Deadpool in February, Batman v Superman in March, Captain America in April. So X-Men Apocalypse, I was like, I've had my fill. So I think that might have influenced some of my exasperation at it. But I still just don't think it's a good film. Okay,
now see, I literally start to finish just sat in the cinema just like with my mouth like open. Like. That first scene where not the first scene, but one of the first scenes with Magneto, when I genuinely thought I was going to cry when his daughter and his wife get killed. I thought that was heartbreaking. Yeah. I knew it was happening because I knew that they were kind of following that story from the comic book, so I knew it was coming. But just the way it happened, I was just a bit like, oh shit.
I don't see how they needed that. I did not see what the point of that was. Magneto is already mad and angry.
Yeah, but what they were doing was because he was trying to be something. He didn't want to be that crazy. You know, he was in hiding. Everyone's looking for him because he tried to kill the president and half the world. It needed to be there because that was the reason that he went back to his old self. Even though Charles is always going on about, we can live harmoniously and we don't have to fight and we don't have to have a war. I think that was a big thing for him because he's kind of been like, okay, maybe we can live like that, and then that happened, and he was like, no.
The Magneto that we saw that got, especially in First Class, because I think that was the one film that actually did the characters justice. X-Men Apocalypse is all about spectacle, is all about the stakes, is all about the size, is all about the destruction. X-Men First Class actually honed in on Magneto and Charles, and that central friendship / conflict was fascinating because they had two great young actors who can't really, you give them good stuff to work with, they can go with it. There was nothing much for these guys to work with other than let's just give you this, we're going to kill off another load of your family and just do it all over again. I just think the Magneto that we have he already was planning to turn missiles on humans. He was already planning to trick them all in Days of Future Past to manipulate it all, and so I just didn't see the point of that particularly. Let's make this one thing very clear. In this film, Magneto literally kills millions of people. And at the end, Charles is like, off you go. I know Magneto's always wanted to do it, but he never actually did it to that scale until this movie. Because this film didn't care about the millions of people that they killed. It was just humans.
It's fine.
But that's the thing, that these films are supposed to they're supposed to care, and it doesn't care. It just, because it can bring up all the Golden Gate Bridge and the Sydney Opera House, because it can do that, it will do that, and none of the characters are bothered about, oh my god, millions of people are dying.
I think that's a bit of a long stretch because obviously they are, because they're fighting for it. Otherwise they'd be like, nah, whatever.
In the fight, all they're trying to do is save Charles. That's the key thing.
They're trying to kill him.
Deliver a very important message. Like, they're there to say, like, friendship is important. You should be there for friends. Ben, Tom, like, it's there to kind of like teach us morals. Yeah. Like in Captain America Part 3. He didn't care what Bucky did. He was taking care of his boy. He was taking care of his pal. Oh.
But Bucky was brainwashed. I don't think Magneto was brainwashed. He was emotionally manipulated, but he wasn't brainwashed.
Yeah, true. But when you kind of look back, the reason he is like that is because of what happened when he was a kid and how his parents were like brutally murdered. His big thing is he just does not like humans. Even though Charles tries to say we can live harmoniously, we don't have to fight, blah blah. He just does not like humans.
The humans don't like him.
Yeah.
So who can blame him? These humans are cunts.
That's the thing though, it's just literally like everything that could happen to that poor man. Michael Fassbender spent half of that film crying. I was in the cinema like,
but that's all that he had. He had fit crying. Yeah. Was there a memorable moment with him and Charles in this film, like there was especially in First Class?
No, not with Charles. I don't think. I think with like Quicksilver. What I was quite annoyed about is why didn't he tell him that he was?
Because they want to save that for the sequel, so people will want to come and see it again.
But I don't know how they're going to do that as well, because are they going to use Scarlet Witch as well? I don't know how that's going to work, because obviously she's in Captain America.
So it's Quicksilver.
That Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, he was fucking useless.
What was sensible with that Quicksilver is they underpowered him compared to this Quicksilver. Because this Quicksilver can solve everything.
Yeah.
There is no need for any other X-Man if Quicksilver is as fast as is implied.
I think that was the whole thing, and that's why they killed him off.
And he was obviously fast, but he obviously wasn't so fast that he could avoid all the bullets.
Yeah.
This Quicksilver can literally move bullets and
save everyone from
an explosion that can no more than 2 or 3 seconds. Yeah. And he's walking whilst he's doing it at times, but then at other times he's running, so there's no sense of how fast he was.
Yeah, the guy who plays him, anything that he's got, I just think he's amazing. I think he's so good as Quicksilver.
Yeah.
But that scene, where he's rescuing everyone from that, it was so cheesy.
But it was also just a rehash of a better scene in Days of Future Past.
Like, I always find like that's like the part of the cheesecake when you get to like the biscuit base. Like, I'd love to have like a cake made out of entirely biscuit base, but just having that scarcity, it gives it value.
Tonally, this film is all over the place because it's very dramatic moments. Boom, humour moment, boom, oh, I've lost my brother.
What I found with this one was sometimes you can get it in like some superhero movies where it's kind of, it'd be a bit dry, but not like to the point where you're like, oh god, get me out of this cinema. I thought with X-Men there was not a moment where I wasn't like on the edge of my seat, but even with like you said, like the way it was like dramatic and it was funny and it was action, I think it was really well done. It flowed the whole way through and there wasn't a second where you were just kind of like, okay, yeah, right, can we get on to
the was for
next?
me.
The
film was 2.5 hours long. 2.5 hours long, and how much time did you feel any of the characters got? How much time do you think Beast got enough time? Do you think Mystique got enough time?
I think Mystique though.
Do you think Psylocke got enough time? Do you think Angel got enough time?
I don't think Mystique's going to be, because Mystique's so overdone now. Don't get me wrong, Jennifer Lawrence is bae. I love Jennifer Lawrence, but it just got to. I think with Mystique, they've just kind of.
The character, the nature of the character is screwed by the fact that it's Jennifer Lawrence that's playing it. The nature of Mystique is that at all times she wants to be blue unless she has to. How many times in the first X-Men films did you actually see Rebecca remain as her?
No, never.
Next to none. Because she wants to be blue. She doesn't feel like she should have to change. Jennifer Lawrence is nearly never blue in this film because A, they want to make sure that everyone knows it's a Jennifer Lawrence. B, they want to use her in the trailers. C, Jennifer Lawrence probably gets annoyed when they use the blue stuff and they want to keep her happy in case they can tempt her to do more sequels.
No,
so therefore it goes against the Mystique character for her to not be blue.
But what you have to think about is that Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique character is when she's young. So there's going to be some kind of development in the fact that she wants to, although she's not completely like, oh yeah, let's save all humans, but she has some of the same like beliefs as Charles, where in the first lot where she didn't want to have anything to do with Charles. So there's obviously going to be that kind of development. Something's going to happen and then shit's going to go down and she's just going to be like, do you know what? I'm proud to be blue.
Like she should like stand up in a natural form and say, I am blue.
Yeah.
Dabba die.
In the scenes where she's just herself amongst her people and she doesn't need to go undercover, she should be blue. She shouldn't be blonde Jennifer Lawrence.
You know when she's in a blue form, that's her essentially naked, isn't it? When she's naked and blue, she doesn't have nipples. Does that mean that she can't breastfeed?
Well, you'd have to ask Nightcrawler, who's her son in the comics, but not in this film.
Yeah, I know, they really should.
And I'm sure Cody Smith McPhee, who played him, asked if there would be any, breastfeeding scenes.
Yeah.
Really, really pushed hard for that.
Wait for the DVD to come out on the extras.
Yeah.
We'll see Nightfeeder.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nightfeeder, Nightcrawler.
Nightfeeder.
You know how to use it.
just popping from one nipple to the
Well,
other.
we've given enough ideas for Triple X-Men.
Yeah.
Triple X.
Triple X-Men. I thought it was quite cool how we found out how Charles did go bald. Because he had those lovely locks.
I always assumed it was going to be alopecia.
Oh, yeah, I didn't.
No.
I just thought he got bored and was like, I'm just going to try something new and just shaved it off.
Fell in with the football hooligans.
Yeah.
All the rest of the lads, they've got their shavers on do now.
It is pretty funny that the big thing, the big selling final moments in the trailers, until they had to admit that Wolverine was in the hopes of getting people to see it. It's not like, it's not like Joker or whatever. It's, he's bald!
Yeah. Everyone was like, yes!
Oh my god!
I just remember watching the First Class and just being like, why has he got hair? First of all, I was actually like, why has he got hair? Oh my god, he's walking. Like, that threw me completely. Obviously, I knew that he weren't like paralysed his whole life. But that threw me.
I think he was mainly had hair at that point so they could make jokes about he's sensitive about his hair.
Yeah. Like you were saying about, we were talking about before, the ratings, it is getting absolutely slated, but because they reckon it's a kind of like a backfall from all of that, where the ratings have been, I think it got 42% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. It was really bad. It's made $63 million this weekend.
That's more than
How good is that relative? How good is that relative?
Right, so
that's the thing.
63 million in one weekend. Captain America made over 100 in one weekend.
Well, there was a crazy stat that
Batman vs Superman made more.
Yeah, there was a crazy stat that Deadpool made more in its first week than the Wolverine film did in its entire run. Now, I think some of the negativity is slightly agenda-driven. I think a lot of films, a lot of blockbusters now, have a certain people that really want it to fail or succeed.
Yeah.
People really wanted the Fantastic Four film last year to fail so that they would get the rights back to Marvel Studios. Yeah. People really wanted Batman v Superman to fail because they don't like Zack Snyder and they just don't like him and they think they're just trying to. They didn't like the putting the cart before the horse nature of DC. And I think again, a lot of comic characters really want to see X-Men go to Marvel. And just don't even get started about the Ghostbusters situation. How dare you with your double X chromosome?
Yeah. what I think
that's not the one. Well, have you seen the trailer for that?
It's not a good trailer.
It's not even that. It's not even accurate. The beginning of it was 20 years ago. 4 scientists. Yeah. 3 scientists.
I think a lot of people wanted the film to be bad, and the fact that it's getting backlash, that it's getting negativity, they're embracing that and they're going to try and make a big deal.
That's the thing. I feel that a lot of people who do these reviews just don't care about the films. So, for example, if it was me writing the review, I'd probably be a bit biased, but I'd be honest. Quite a lot of the stuff was quite similar, like even the costumes and things like that were quite similar to the comics, and people who just literally couldn't care less.
Yeah, The Simpsons touched upon this when Homer became a fast food critic. Once you become a critic, then the entire point is to criticise. Yeah. And I think. But
the thing is as well, don't get me wrong. You can't be all like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. But there's a point. You're reviewing a movie.
I think
you're not necessarily criticizing. Like you're not necessarily a critic. You're reviewing it. That's what Rotten Tomatoes is a review of it, and they're just literally just.
Well, Rotten Tomatoes kind of simplify everything. I mean, there are elements of Apocalypse I like. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I was just about to say.
But there was a lot that I didn't like, and I'm sure there were bits that you liked, but there was a lot that you didn't like as well.
I was a bit, not upset, but just kind of a bit like, the fact that Angel didn't really get anything.
Well, that's the thing. All of these characters, nothing happens to them.
No.
You can't tell me.
That was a bit stale.
Tell me one thing about the character of Angel other than he just fights and therefore wants to be on Apocalypse. Great hair, but he did look a bit Billy Idol-y. He was basically the only thing that made me think this was a film set in the 80s. Yeah. What was there that was 80s in this film, other than the Eurythmics song
music,
and Angel's haircut?
Normally, a lot of things, it's the clothes. You had it with First Avenger, Captain America, the way everyone was dressed. Yeah. You knew it was set in the 40s. But I think with X-Men, they all kind of wear their own leather shit, don't they?
Yeah, he gave them I went back to the bland black leather look after First Class did yellow and blue right, which from what I understand is what the fans wanted.
They're all standing there and she's got them all of their costumes they're wearing are all different, and every single one of them is like the comics. They're stuck quite close with that, to be honest.
Well, hopefully that's where they go, because again, just in reverting back to the black, and it's like you're taking personality out of this film. Cyclops never had personality in X-Men 1 and 2, and then they just killed him off in X-Men 3. And he doesn't seem to have given him much of anything in this film.
Well, what is
to do with Scott?
A bit dry.
Yeah, it's such a treat.
Cartoon.
But is Charles Xavier in the comics like a a 60s playboy like James McAvoy portrays him in First Class, and then he gets character evolution? Or is that something that Matthew Vaughn added and Jane Goodman, is that her name?
Oh, right,
actually imbued them with characters because they're good writers and filmmakers?
Yeah, no, I think with that it's just kind of they've kind of. I don't really know about it, like
because from what I understand in the comic books, it's a bit more soap opera-y, and I think that's good. Have a comic book soap opera with affairs, and you know they kind of implied it with Wolverine, but that's just kind of she's my girl, no, she's my girl.
Yeah.
You know, nothing really particularly interesting to that. But I think some intrigue and some soap opera dynamics.
I think there's a lot of aspects within the comics that just wouldn't work on the screen. It's the same with any kind of book.
Yeah.
When they adapt a book, there's some things that you're like, oh, I really wish I'd put that in there, but it just wouldn't work. And there's so many different versions of every comic. Captain America, they brought out a new one, brought out a new comic where it says the whole time Steve Rogers, Captain America himself, is actually a Hydra.
Those sort of things.
Now, I'm a bit like, because I love Captain America, he's my favourite, I'm a bit like, I'd quite like to see that, but I don't think they're going to use it in the MCU.
That's why I've never really got into the comics, because it's just it's too elaborate, and they always are retconning things. Like every couple of years, some galactic god sneezes, and then that changes the whole world apart, and people suddenly have their legs back. I remember trying to read the Civil War comic book, and it was bloody awful. Just quickly about Apocalypse. What were his powers?
Everything.
But that's terrible.
There's quite a lot.
But he doesn't have Charles's powers.
He can absorb other people's.
Also,
that's his power.
Why does it have to be a punch up in his brain? And then why does he become 60 feet? There's nothing.
It's symbolic.
Yeah.
Of what? That Bryan Singer doesn't know what he's doing.
That it's in his head. You're getting in his head. Well, I think it's safe to say that it's very, very mixed reviews.
Yeah. Well, what would you give it out of 10?
Solid 7.5.
You're going 7.5? Solid 7.5. That's a flimsy 7.5. I'm going for a solid 8. That's a round number. No decimal points.
I'll say 4.
I thought you were going to go lower.
No, I think, like I said, I felt like I needed to take the contrary stance. I think the performances, for the most part, those that are giving characters, do their best. But
fair enough.
I think if you rank it, First Class, 2, Days of Future Past, 1, Apocalypse, Wolverine. 3 Wolverine. Wolverine is
3 was worth.
Atrocious.
Okay, right, moving on. This low-key release has no mutants or magic, but it has plenty of moronic teens, which makes a big change from today's superhero-led cinema.
This ain't high school, man. You're at a new level here. You have not earned teammate status yet.
Who the hell are you?
Oh, Jake Bradford.
And until you do, you're nobody.
Excuse me. Yeah. Bye.
I'd like to introduce you to the new guys. 2 rules. No booze in this house. Number 2, no girls upstairs in those bedrooms.
I'm seriously worried about these new guys.
Oh! Play a good game, man.
Jake. We have a little tradition welcoming the new guys. Freshman batting practice! Welcome to the big time, boys.
Oh, my nuts!
Look at what we have here. Hey, ladies. Party later tonight at the baseball houses.
You should be investing this energy elsewhere.
Lesbians.
I like the quiet guy in the backseat.
Oh, there's nothing here. Yeah, I can see how that could get threatening. New guy coming in, getting all the ladies. That was a joke.
I got your joke right here.
Did he just call it a joke?
That's what he implied.
How did you know what room I was in?
I'm an investigative journalism major.
So I guess you know my name then.
Yes. As soon as you tell me.
Starting to have an identity crisis. We've danced at a disco, danced the Cotton Eye Joe and kicker attire, and here we are, punks for a night.
You gotta embrace your inner strange, man. Just be weird.
It's about finding out who you are.
You gotta tune in, man.
Do you guys want to try a little telepathic stuff?
Do it. Lock in.
What am I thinking about?
Baseball. Having a tail.
Cereal.
Just think about sharks.
Sharks have tails.
It's a good point. It's a good
I wish I had a tail.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I'm
pretty sure that is a new school record.
Now, Bob, you haven't seen this film.
Not yet. Seen the trailer twice.
But who likes fit men in hot pants? I know I do.
I've got nothing against them.
Bob, why don't you do? Don't give me that.
Oh, can't get enough.
If there are hot pants around, they might as well be filled.
Yeah, that is a very good point. So, Bob, just because obviously you haven't seen it, it's set in the 80s and it follows a baseball team at a university in Texas.
Aye.
Like their freshers weekend. It's like 3 days leading up to their first classes. The main guy, which is Jake, he's a fresher, and you got the other ones who are kind of
Some
senior, some yeah. So it's like it's literally just following them, but it's so funny. They've got basically like a frat house, which is 2 houses, and then they've just been like knocked through. They've got rules. There's no drinking, no girls upstairs in their bedrooms and stuff like that. And literally within the first night, I think they broke every single one of those rules.
And a lot of these guys don't really look under 21 anyway.
Well,
let's be honest. There's a lot of facial hair.
Yeah,
and if I could grow that facial hair at 20, my God.
Tyler Hecklin, who's one of the guys I love, he's from Teen Wolf. He's the one with the moustache. Yeah, he's like 29 and he's supposed to be like playing like a 19-year-old. He's got this great like porn star tash.
Yes.
Brilliant. This horrible haircut.
Is he the one with the dark hair? Is he
he's like the one who's the.
Or is he the one that does he have a pipe occasionally? Or is
no, he's the one with the dark hair.
The batter. The guy's really good.
Yeah. The one who's a bit of an arse.
The thing is, I'm not going to be great with the names, but I think because this is it's Richard Linklater, and he said it's his spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused, which I must admit I haven't seen, but I will.
I've seen it's good.
But what I do know about Dazed and Confused is there's a lot of people in there that went on to become megastars. And I get the sense that in like 5, 6, 7 years from now, quite a few of these people will be huge stars.
So Tyler Hecklin, he was in Teen Wolf. He did 4 seasons on the TV series Teen Wolf. And then he's now about to be in the 50 Shades of Grey sequels.
Kurt Russell's son,
which I didn't know his son, and he is so funny. He's just a stoner. He's just stoned the whole time. And just sit in his room with this big massive bong, and it's just.
If you imagine, he has got Kurt Russell's face basically, but with Goldie Hawn's blonde hair.
Now you say it.
So he's got like he's the Thing beard, but with blonde hair.
Yeah.
So
but he's hilarious. He's just stoned, literally stoned the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like they're all sitting there as well, and they're all like how they can read each other's minds if they sit there and you constantly they're like literally stoned out of their head, and they're like, if you concentrate hard enough, you could read each other's mind, and they go, okay, on the count of 3, we'll all say what we were thinking about. And they'd like say it, and like everyone was like, no one was thinking the same thing, and they're all just like, oh man.
And the soundtrack's fantastic.
Oh,
the songs of
so good.
That scene's to Fearless by Pink Floyd from Metal, which is a phenomenal song. And also like my big problem with X-Men Apocalypse was it was a lot of plot with nothing for the characters to do. This is a lot for the characters to do, but 0 plot. It felt to me like almost like the first 2 episodes, like 2 episodes of like a Netflix series or an Amazon series.
It's literally just them just getting drunk and going to different bars, and they've all got different traits. So you got one of them who's like a really smooth talker,
intellectual, smokes a pipe.
Yeah, he's hilarious. And you've got the one who's like a proper jock. He's the proper jock. He's really good at baseball, and he's a bit of a knob.
Then you got the madman.
And you got the mad. He's a fucking absolute nutcase.
He's the sort of character that you'll get lots of people wearing T-shirts with his face.
Yeah, he's a fucking big. You're kind of a bit like, okay. And then you've got like the newbie, and you've got the one who's quite peace and love.
Yeah. What's interesting about it actually is that it's a film that celebrates jocks and frats.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an indie Porky's. Or an art house American Pie.
Or
something like that,
yeah.
you know?
I think it was pretty good because everyone's kind of, each character's different.
Yeah.
They've all got different traits, and I think it sticks with, that actually happens, I've been part of teams since I was about 5, and you very, very rarely get anyone who's the same.
I think one of the things that I find interesting about it as well is when they actually do play baseball, suddenly there is that sense of these guys are really good and they're working really hard at it. Like they do have that discipline, but at least when it comes to baseball, then when it comes to classes, they're just not interested in what.
Literally, as it ends, it's them going into their first class.
Yeah.
And there's 2 of them that are in the same class together, and they're sitting there, and the teacher walks in, and they both go, just like basically just go to sleep, but they're hanging from the 3-day bender that they've been on, and it's just like.
I think as far as Linklater's work goes. I thought Boyhood was great, but slightly overrated.
Yeah.
Only as far as like it was so many people's top film of the year. I don't think it was that.
Yeah.
Good. I thought Before Midnight was amazing. That's one of my favourite films of the decade so far.
Yeah.
But I don't think everybody wants some. It's fun for what it is. It's
just you and your mates and just have a good laugh. Just sit in a cinema, just
Yeah.
chill, and you haven't got to be like you know,
Yeah, like
with
that-
X-Men and other things like that. You have to concentrate so much because there's so much going on. But with that, it's just so chilled out. It's funny.
It's a hangout movie.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
proper laughing out loud in the cinema. It was.
But so surprisingly positive. But that's what Linklater is actually. I think for the most part he's quite an optimistic filmmaker.
Yeah.
And that's what made me love Before Midnight so much, because that was so brutally honest
Yeah.
about the harsh side.
Yeah.
After giving you so much hope and positivity in youth, and that's also, he loves to celebrate youthful idiocy.
You can kind of tell how close they actually are. You can see the chemistry between all of them. They all
Yeah.
do. They actually, Richard, he had a cabin or something like that, and
Yeah.
they all went down there for 3 weeks and basically just lived together for 3 weeks before they started filming, just so they could actually get that bond, like a bond that a team would actually have.
So if you were to pick one of them to become a megastar in the future, which one?
Well, I was going to say Tyler because I absolutely love him. So
I'll say the lead guy. Because he has got those leading man, handsome, he's
Jenna.
tall and everything. I can imagine him getting an action film. I'm surprised he wasn't in the running for young Han Solo, actually. He would have been.
Oh, right, yeah. He started off in Glee.
Yeah, I read
That's where
that.
we came
That's pretty
from.
crazy.
He's a bit of a dancer and a singer.
So out of 10, what would you say?
7.
That's a solid 7?
Solid 7.
Yeah, 7.5. 7, yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I'd give your review a solid 7.5.
Nice.
A liquid 8 and a gaseous 9.7.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say. That
Who likes shorts? We like shorts.
I think they won. I think the Hot
Love
Ones won.
shorts. Stick around, here's a look at some future releases.
I can't believe it's been 20 years. Still gonna take your father to the anniversary?
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
On this day in 1996, the world escaped the clutches of extinction.
Your father was the bravest man I've ever seen.
We all lost someone we love.
But in their sacrifice, we found the technology to build a stronger and safer Earth. Because our survival is only possible when we stand together.
Oh my God. A distress call.
Why are they screaming?
They're not screaming. They're celebrating. They're coming back. It has its own gravity. What goes up must come down.
Shouldn't we be nervous?
Yeah.
Our whole lives built up to this moment.
It's touchdown over the Atlantic.
Which part?
All of it.
Make them pay.
Not going up there to make friends.
We've got to remind them Earth is not for the taking.
All fighters, evade, evade!
I had years to get us ready.
We're going down!
We never had a chance.
We didn't last time either. We convinced an entire generation that this is a battle that we could win. We sacrifice for each other no matter what the cost. And that's worth fighting for.
It's the 4th of July, so let's show them some fireworks.
Hold on!
They like to get the landmarks.
Did you hear that?
What was that? Hear what?
Stan, I heard someone say hello.
Yeah, there's a lot of fish here. Anybody, literally anybody could have just said hello.
There.
Where am I looking?
There.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Dory.
Yeah, well, where are your parents?
Hi, I've lost my family.
Where did you see them last?
I forgot. I was looking for something and okay, totally get it. Date night.
I suffer from short-term memory loss. It runs in my family. At least I think it does. Where are they?
Dory, there you are!
Guys!
Look out!
Ah!
Oh, look at this. Our friend got taken into whatever this place is. It's a fish hospital.
I feel fantastic!
Listen! Dude. Name's Hank.
I have to find my family.
That's a hard one, kid.
Well, I guess you're stuck here.
You're not helping, Bill.
Fragile things! I lost my family.
That is so sad. You weren't the...
Not a great swimmer.
Our friend is in there, lost, alone.
Bailey, you've got to use your echolocation.
Ooh, I feel stupid.
Poor baby. Let me get that for you.
Woo! Mom! Dad!
She should just pick two and let's go.
Dad.
What? I'm kidding. I get the feeling they're shushing us for a reason.
Like something with one big eye, tentacles, and a snappy thing?
Well, that's very specific, but something like that.
Somewhere out there is my family. I can't find them on my own.
Hang on, Dory!
Surf's up, dude! Incoming! I don't want to be touched. Sorry.
That's okay. Everybody does it. Nothing to be ashamed of.
I trust Becky.
You trust Becky. Becky's eating a cup.
Just keep swimming.
Mom! Dad! Does this mean we have to say goodbye to Dory?
I don't know why I thought I could do this.
Dory, you are about to find your parents. And when you do that, you'll be
Home.
sea lions. They are natural predators. They could pounce at any moment. Mate, don't you worry.
Oh, Gerald! Get off the rock! Get off! You know it!
Don't you worry about a thing. I know who I am.
When we are finished with you, you'll no longer be yourself.
I remember everything.
Remembering everything doesn't mean you know everything.
Tell me.
We've just been hacked. Could be worse than Snowden.
Facial recognition got a hit.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
Why would it come back now?
There's a demonstration in front of the Greek Parliament building. I think she'll use it as cover.
They tracked you. We gotta move.
He's seen things. He knows things. What if he's not coming for us? What if it's something else?
I volunteered because of a lie. This is Jason Bourne.
I need to talk.
32 kills. People are safer because of what you did. You're never gonna find any peace. Not till you admit to yourself who you really are.
Okay, so Independence Day. It looks pretty epic, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, the weird thing though was when the first Independence Day came out, it was the first one to do this mass destruction of landmarks and everything. Which, like I was saying, you got that in Apocalypse. So it'll be interesting to see how they adapt that now that everyone's kind of done what they did.
It does kind of look on like a whole nother scale though.
Yeah, but
That'd
that's
be
what
next
worries
time.
me. Yeah, they'll just kill billions of people.
Yeah.
And there'll only be 3 people left
Yeah,
at the
it's
end
fine.
of
As
it.
long as Liam Hemsworth's still there.
And Jeff
I don't mind.
Goldblum. I'm delighted that we're going to see Jeff Goldblum in a big budget film again, but I wish Will Smith was there as well.
Yeah, it's a shame that he's not there, but his son's there, and Jaden is looking hench.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jaden wishes he looked like
Yeah,
that.
I think he does. Yeah, but no, I think it looks. I have seen the original. It was a long time ago, and I don't really remember much.
The original really embraced the cheesiness and the B movie aspect
Okay.
of it, and I
Classic
don't.
monsters.
I think this one's good. Looks the trailer at least implies it's a lot more grim, a lot more serious.
Yeah.
You know, kind of Hunger
Well, we can't-
Games-y kind of vibe. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong, but I hope that there
Maybe
are
that's
still.
just because Liam's in it.
Yeah, maybe I'll hope there'll still be moments of Welcome to Earth. You know, those sort
Yeah.
of moments, or the dog surviving. You know, that's what I want.
Finding Dory. Yes. I'm so excited for this.
Honestly, for the longest time, I was against Pixar doing how many sequels they were doing.
Yeah.
And, like, I haven't seen Cars 2, because I didn't like Cars 1.
I just haven't
So that's the
seen
only
Cars.
Pixar one I haven't ever seen. Monster University was fine, but of course Toy Story 2 and 3 are classics. So hopefully Finding Dory can be more and more along the Toy Story sequel lines. I was hoping that the Finding was more metaphorical rather than another road trip movie.
Yeah.
But that looks like what it's going to be. But
Another one with Dory.
I'm not sure whether it is that they go and find her or whether it's her finding herself.
It's her finding her parents.
Yeah, so it's like her trying to.
But
figure out
hopefully
who
it is
else
more
she is.
just about realizing who she is.
Yeah,
Because she's
yeah,
got no
exactly.
sense of self. Like
No.
that could be really interesting. You know, kind of like.
So
Like how Inside Out was all about figuring out who this little girl
Yeah, I'm
was.
quite a fan of Pixar.
They can make you cry, and I can imagine.
Yeah,
that they'll
I
do it.
can't watch Disney films because I cry.
Mhm.
So Pixar's just the next best.
Yeah,
Even like Hercules.
Oh god.
Surely at the end of it, like when Dory does learn like the massive moral message, she's got Alzheimer's. Surely she's going to
She'll forget anyway. Yeah.
She'll forget it after.
But yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And last one, Bourne. Hell.
Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne.
So
Back and kicking
first
ass.
3, fucking unbelievable. Absolutely love them. Legacy, I did like it, and I'm a big fan of Jeremy Renner. I do like Jeremy Renner, but I think it kind of.
I
it was a
don't
bit,
think they're going to acknowledge that
I know.
whatsoever.
I
in
think it
this
was just a
movie.
bit flat. I think Matt Damon said he didn't want to do any more at the time.
Unless
But they
Greengrass
wanted
was involved.
Greengrass because he's done all of them.
No, actually, he didn't do Identity. He did Supremacy and Legacy. Not
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
There was
yeah.
another guy who did.
Yeah.
So obviously,
Yeah.
Matt Damon just said, "I like him more than him."
Yeah, well,
but
he did Green Zone as well, which is
Yeah.
a film that was Paul Greengrass.
I
as
just hope that they tone down some of the shaky camera stuff.
Yeah,
It's
there is a lot in it. You're a bit like.
Bourne did it well, but it was every other film after
Yeah.
that that's like, these guys can't fight. Just shake the
Yeah.
camera around.
No, it does. It looks absolutely. I'm glad that Matt Damon decided to
Yeah,
come back because,
I don't know.
like I say, big fan of Jeremy Renner, but it was a bit like you can't. I know it's the legacy of
Yeah.
Bourne, but you can't have a film where Jason Bourne's not in it.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think it's a sequel that was needed. And how many times is the fourth film the best film in the franchise?
Yeah,
You know,
so-
the only one that comes to mind is Bride of Chucky. That's where we're going.
More of Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah. But mate, hopefully this will be the Bride of Chucky of the
who
Bourne
knows?
films.
Maybe it will be, but definitely a lot of good films coming out.
If you're into fish, explosions, or guys their tops off fighting, you're in for a treat this summer.
If only they could pool all those together eventually. in one
Alien
film.
fish coming down and taking off their tops.
maybe that's what the Aquaman movie will be like.
Oh,
Ooh,
yes.
that's not too bad.
There we go.
There's
Jason
Jason
Momoa.
Momoa.
Aquaman. Aquaman, exploding
He's
fish.
literally. I went to a convention recently and he was there. Oh, sweet Jesus! That man. Not only is he beautiful, but he's huge. I was like, hi. It's like a bit like I turned around to him as well. I was like, I'm really looking forward to Aquaman. I was like, I want it now, and he just like looked at me and like towered over me. He was like, well, you've got to wait a bit longer. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever you say.
Whatever you say, bro.
Yeah, whatever you say.
Whatever you say, Khal Drogo, don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Humans against your own kind.
This is suicide. We have no choice. We should attack with full force.
Whatever you plan to do it now!
Have you've enjoyed what you've seen, then like, share and comment. But we'll probably ignore you anyway. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at the links below. Thanks to Lorcan for helping us out last minute, and we'll see you next time.